Listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. Y'all see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
Tyson, at least for a round or two.
First time he gets
Tyson.
cracked, it's gonna, I guarantee you, his head's gonna be like, oh shit.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
How many rounds is it?
I think it's
Boxing thrives on narratives, and sometimes those narratives write themselves. Over the past few weeks, the fight world has been buzzing with rumors that Canelo Alvarez, long regarded as the sport's biggest superstar, was dropped in sparring. For any fighter, that would be newsworthy. But for Canelo, a man who has built his brand on being untouchable, whispers of
However they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we got to fight, and I'm going to win the fight. As simple as that.
Can I ask you about if there's any rematch clause with this fight with Canelo?
No, it's not.
Is that something you push for?
No, I didn't.
And is any weight restrictions to the fight at all?
No, it's not.
A lot of fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
him being floored behind closed doors cut especially deep when Terence "Bud" Crawford, the man preparing to face Canelo in one of boxing's most anticipated super fights, seized the moment to mock him publicly. Those whispers turned into a roaring fire. This wasn't just trash talk or bravado, it was calculated psychological warfare. Crawford isn't simply preparing to beat Canelo in the ring, he's aiming to dismantle him mentally before the first bell even rings. Crawford didn't stop at clowning Canelo over the sparring rumors, he doubled down, releasing sharp, dominant training footage of himself looking razor sharp. The timing was no coincidence. It was a taunt, a subtle...
Like, fucking stiff, he's gonna be fighting like this, and he's gonna be shit. Bro, I come in and I was just, hand was low and lazy, and I was just waiting for it.
Message to Canelo and the boxing world. While you're being questioned, I'm sharpening my sword. This wasn't just a show of skill, it was symbolic. In boxing, perception is everything, and confidence often shifts based on optics. By contrasting his own dominance with Canelo's supposed vulnerability, Crawford gained an early psychological edge.
That's what probably surprised, well no, probably what surprised me more than anything was the confidence that he had. He was getting it with me. I was world champion at that point, and this young man came in and he really just tried to...
Former cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew didn't mince words when breaking down Canelo's style. He described Alvarez as stiff, predictable, and easier to time than most fans realize, a blunt assessment that struck a nerve. If experienced analysts see glaring flaws, you can bet Crawford, one of the most...
I'm hearing things that he's been dropped in the ring, in the gym and stuff like that. But that's okay too, because I took a couple spills, little slips in the ring, in the gym. That's okay, but we're going to see. This is going to be a good fight.
Cerebral fighters in the sport is licking his lips at the opportunities waiting to be exploited. Johnny Nelson added another layer, praising what he believes is Crawford's most underrated weapon, his supreme confidence. According to Nelson, Bud doesn't just enter the ring, he owns it the moment he steps through the ropes. That psychological dominance, he argues, could be decisive against a fighter like Canelo who thrives on intimidating opponents. Then came Shannon Briggs, the former heavyweight champion, who casually mentioned hearing about Canelo being dropped in sparring. Coming from Briggs, even an offhand comment carried weight. His remark lent credibility to the rumor and chipped away further at Canelo's image of invincibility. Derek Chisora tried to downplay the chatter, insisting that sparring knockdowns don't mean much. But for Canelo, whose reputation is built on being indestructible,
because that's only sparring. If you get dropped in sparring, it means you're learning. Tomorrow morning you don't get dropped in the same shot. So him getting dropped in sparring, that means he's learning on the job. So it's okay. Who cares? Alexander usually gets dropped in sparring.
Tactics matter. Every rumor, every clip, every shred of doubt becomes a weapon in Crawford's psychological warfare. Crawford himself didn't shy away from addressing Canelo's preparation. He highlighted the irony: if Canelo truly believed Bud was too small or untested, why would his training camp be filled with so many sparring partners? To Crawford, that's a sign of respect, even if Canelo won't admit it. For years, critics doubted whether Crawford could handle the 168-pound division, but Canelo's actions suggest he views Bud as a legitimate threat, perhaps the toughest challenge of his career. Crawford's response to the skeptics was cold and calculated. By stating there will be no excuses, he framed the narrative: when the bell rings, the only thing that matters is proving he's the pound-for-pound king. Coach Spike O'Sullivan, who has faced some of the sport's best, insists that Canelo will feel.
What is there to talk about? You fighting the best fighter in the world. You better be taking it serious. You know, that goes to show, you know, how serious he's taking me and how much he respects me. Because, you know, if I haven't fought anyone, if I was too small, if I was, you know, all these things that all the media said I was, then he wouldn't need these guys to help prepare him to fight me. He wouldn't, you know, need all the help that, you know, he's getting. But I'm happy that he's getting the help that he needs, because, you know, after, you know, September 13th, there will be no excuses.
Crawford's power. This isn't about size, he argues, it's about precision and timing, qualities Crawford has perfected. Canelo has built his career on bullying opponents, walking them down until they break. But Crawford isn't built to break. Mentally unshakable and technically flawless, Bud forces instant respect with his accuracy and sharp counters. Spike emphasized that hesitation against Crawford is fatal. Once Canelo realizes Bud can sting him, his trademark forward pressure could evaporate. And without that pressure, Canelo loses his most dangerous weapon. Legendary trainer Buddy McGirt believes this fight will go into the deep waters of the championship rounds, a scenario that favors Crawford. While most fighters fade late, Bud grows stronger, suffocating opponents with his adjustments and relentless pace.
This is going to be the key in this. Punching power, speed, timing, all that's good. But it's a mental game. This is what's going to carry us through that night.
For Canelo, a fighter who has often relied on dragging opponents into deep waters, this dynamic could backfire. The longer the fight goes, the more angles Crawford will find and the more dangerous he becomes. As fight night approaches, the psychological battle rages on. From sparring rumors to training footage to subtle jabs and interviews, Crawford has already taken control of the narrative. Canelo may enter the ring with power and experience, but Crawford will bring something even more dangerous. A sharpened mind, unshakable confidence, and the belief that he's already won half the fight before the first punch is thrown. This fight is magnetic because it's more than just another boxing event, it's a clash of legacies. On one side stands Canelo Alvarez, a global superstar whose reputation has at times been protected by his massive brand. On the other,
The deep waters, you know, I mean, unless somebody slips up and get caught early. But, you know, we gotta get him into the deep waters.
Is Terence "Bud" Crawford, the undefeated pound-for-pound king, hungry to cement his greatness by conquering boxing's biggest name. Carl Froch captured the magnitude of this showdown perfectly, calling it a monster fight, perhaps the single biggest event the sport can currently deliver. For Froch, Crawford's decision to move up to 168 pounds isn't just about chasing another belt, it's about redefining what pound-for-pound greatness truly means. Bud is daring to do what few fighters would even attempt: step into enemy territory and try to conquer a bigger, stronger, and more established star. Canelo's motivation, meanwhile, feels different. His aura of invincibility has been questioned in recent years. The whispers of sparring knockdowns, mixed performances, and moments of vulnerability have planted seeds of doubt. Froch framed it bluntly: for Canelo, this fight isn't about destiny, it's about survival. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Crawford wins, he doesn't just claim victory. He redefines an entire era of boxing. If Canelo finds a way to prevail, he rescues his fading aura and preserves the empire he's...
When you get involved in these kind of things, you have to just accept it. And everyone's bought into the fight. We all know the drama, the rivalry's real.
Built over the past decade. Renowned trainer Robert Garcia offered a compelling perspective on Crawford's chances. Many analysts believe Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Bud, but Garcia flipped the narrative. He praised Crawford's timing, speed, and ring IQ, weapons that have dismantled every opponent he's faced. Some argue Crawford will need to fight a perfect fight, but Garcia highlighted what makes Bud different: his ability to create perfection in real time. Crawford thrives in chaos, adjusting and finding solutions mid-fight. Against someone like Canelo, that adaptability could prove decisive. Garcia predicted Crawford might win by decision but didn't rule out a potential stoppage, pointing out that Bud has already proven he can hurt bigger men. No voice carries more weight than that of Crawford's trainer Brian "Bo-Mac" McIntyre. While many would crack under the pressure of such a massive event, Bo-Mac and Team Crawford exude a chilling calm. It's not arrogance. It's discipline forged through years of preparation. Bo-Mac's message is clear and terrifying for Canelo. Bud doesn't fight anyone else's fight. He fights his own. That composure is what makes Crawford so dangerous. For years, opponents have been overwhelmed by Canelo's aura.
Crawford coming up to 168 to take on Canelo Alvarez really is one to look forward to. It's a monster fight. But is this the biggest fight in boxing? I mean, it's a big fight, isn't it? Would you say that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are the biggest fight? Two of the biggest names in boxing, that's for sure. And Terence Crawford's unbeaten. Obviously, we know what Canelo Alvarez is all about. We know what he's done. If he retired tomorrow, then he'd go down as an ultimate, like one of the best to ever do it. And so it's big. I mean, you've got to try and compare it with.
But Crawford isn't shaken. He's locked in, focused, and unmoved by the spotlight. And when Bud is locked in, history has shown he's nearly unstoppable. This fight isn't just a marquee matchup. It's the defining moment of two careers. If Crawford wins, he becomes untouchable in the history books, cementing himself as the true pound-for-pound king, the man who conquered multiple divisions and dethroned boxing's biggest star. For Canelo, victory silences the whispers of decline and protects his legacy. The mental edge could be the deciding factor. Crawford enters calm, calculating, and confident. Canelo enters under pressure, desperate to defend his throne. In boxing, belief often determines victory before the first punch is thrown. Fans understand the gravity of this moment. This isn't hype, it's history in the making. Two elite warriors colliding at the height of their pride. For Crawford, victory means immortality. For Canelo, defeat could mean his empire crumbles. The question now is simple but seismic. Is this the night Terence Crawford rules the boxing world, or does Canelo Alvarez have one